basically going to do right now is just continue part 2 from the last video, but I'm going to just start off exactly where it was so it makes sense, because I know in part 1 it was like messed up. It just like cut off at the end and I didn't finish it. I didn't add anything to it. I was just like, you know what, forget it. I'll make another video. So and let's get into this video. Okay, so like I said, my parents had dropped me off from an interview I had. I was able to come home for a little bit. I spent some time with my daughter and my ex at the time. I was probably home for about 15-20 minutes. My phone rang and it was my job. They needed me to come in as soon as possible. So doing what I just did and leaving my daughter with my boyfriend at the time seemed like the right thing to do, because my parents had already left, and I didn't feel like it was necessary to have them come back, as far as they've driven at the time, to get home, just to come back and pick her up, when for me it was convenience. He was there, I had to go, and I had to go make money. So that was the decision I made. So before I left, you know, I made sure Nevaeh's bottles were pre-made with the formula in it, not the water, but you know, I pre-made her bottles. I reinsured my boyfriend at the time how to do it again, because he was frantically calling me when she woke up and she was hungry when I was at my job interview, because my baby, she was a little fat girl, so she always wanted her food right when she got up. So I leave to work. Gosh, what? I was there roughly 2.5, 3 hours. It really wasn't that long. It was a new job. They did know that I had a newborn, so they allowed me to keep my phone on the floor and in my apron, just on vibrate. So I appreciated that, so I followed the rules. I kept my phone in my apron. Every once in a while, you know, I take it out, look at it, make sure everything was cool. Well, that night, it was really busy. I worked at like a part-time Halloween store at the time. And I just had this feeling, so I ended up pulling out my phone, and I seen that I had like about 7 missed calls from the dude I was with at the time. So I ran to the back, I called him, and you know, I was like, hey, what's up? I'm at work. What's going on? And he said that, okay, this is when we go into the story, so get your tissue, because most people need it. So this is his story on what he told me, and this is the only story I have to go off on. This is the only story that I have told everyone since the first time I heard the story. So he said that my daughter woke up from a nap. Like I said, she was a little fatty, so she wanted her bottle right when she got up. So he made her bottle. He went to go pick her up. He said he didn't. He said she didn't want it. So he decided to give her her binky. She ended up spitting that out. So he ended up picking her up, trying to feed her again, and she pushed out, didn't want it. So he placed her back in her little bassinet, and he went to give her a minute, just to like give her a minute, you know how kids are. And then I guess he went to go pick her back up again and try again, and then that's when my daughter started seizing in his arms. At the time I was living with roommates, so he ended up calling my roommate. My roommate had a friend who lived directly across, like they were like right here. So she went across to go ask her friend, because she worked with kids in the hospital and all that. And I talked to her previously about, you know, being a new mom and the things I might experience before Vea got hurt. So, you know, I didn't have a problem with her coming over and checking. But even though she was less than 10 feet away, by the time she got there, my roommate was holding my daughter at the time, and my roommate had said my daughter just started bleeding out from her mouth and her nose out of nowhere after her seizure. So my roommate told the guy I was with at the time to call 911. He called 911, and Once he called 911, got off the phone with 911, that's when he called me and just told me everything I just told you guys. After he told me that, I literally ran out of my job. I didn't tell him where I was going. I didn't say anything. I took off my apron that I had to wear and I dipped. That was mine. I just needed to get to my daughter. I needed to get to my baby because I didn't know if I was ever going to see her again. I didn't know if that was going to be the last time when I went to work that I was going to be able to see her. So I dipped and I was running to the hospital. The hospital was a drive from my job to the hospital in between 10 minutes, give or take. But running, I'm going to be running for a while. But my roommate came and picked me up before I even got to the end of the parking lot, and we dashed off to the hospital. Drive to the hospital was hard. You know, I had to call my family, I had to call everyone and let them know what was going on, but I didn't know exactly what was going on. I just knew my daughter was hurt. So after I get to the hospital, she's like in this room. I never seen a hospital room like this, but she was in this room for 2 hours, and they were trying to resuscitate her for 2 hours. I treated her after 2 hours. They took her back for an MRI. When they took her back, she was awake. She was alert. Her eyes, I seen her look at me before they wheeled her back. So after they wheeled her to the back, I had to start talking to everybody and their mama. Let's see, we had the police there. We had the homicide detectives there. We had CPS there. I had to talk to everyone, and it was devastating because when you're going through that, you don't want to talk about it. You want to go be with your daughter, your son, whoever. You don't want to sit here for hours on hours, and while your kid, it could possibly be dying, now you got to talk to all these people about something that you don't even really know about. So that was my experience with that, and it was not one for the books. It was not, yes, it's something to talk about, yes, it's something to share, but it's nothing that I would wish on my worst enemy. It's not somewhere in that time, in that mindset, that was like the worst possible thing that has ever happened to me in my life at that point in time. So, you know, just talking to everyone, all in my head, I just was like, I just want to be with my baby girl. I don't want to talk to you, or you. Like, all you can go. I don't care. Because when I was in the waiting room, waiting for her doctor to tell me what was going on with her, you know, and we're still having to deal with the police, you know, the doctor, he came back and he told me that she only had a 30% chance of living through the night. So that killed me. And that's the only reason why I wanted to be with her. I didn't want to talk to all these people, you know. Who wants to do that? Okay, so right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to end this video because this can go on forever because there's more parts. The story is a lot longer. I will be making a part 3, 4. Heck, I'll even make a part 5 if I have to, if it goes on that long. So I'm going to just stop the video here. I'm going to stop talking. But first, before I get off of here, let me tell you guys to drop comments, okay? You have questions, let me know. I also want to try to do like a little shout out. So on my videos, if you have a child who has passed and you just want their names to be recognized, or you want a picture and you're going to allow me to have that picture and do a shout out at the end of the video, I would love to do that. So if you're up for that, let me know, and make sure that you comment the name and everything else down below. Or if you just have any comments about the video, about my daughter, things that have happened, please drop them down below and I will answer them probably once all the videos are done, so I don't have to do all of that in between. It just makes sense. And also make sure you check out my daughter's Facebook page that I had made for her. It's also called Nevaeh's Voice, and then within that page I have a page, it's a private page, this one. It's called Team Vaea. It's where hopefully in the future I'm gonna have some Team Vaea apparel, some shirts or maybe some sweaters. So also go follow that, and just be on the lookout for my next video. And thank you guys so much for coming to my page, and make sure you guys like and subscribe and ring that bell. Bye.